This is the Bray, Richard down below, and yeah, the Matchday preview show, part two. West Ham on Sunday. I think we're just about recovered from Sunday, haven't we, Richard?
I,
Now,
I think so. I mean, I suppose a slight disappointment, but what a match!
yeah. Look, and these are the emotions of football, aren't they? Where you can be so disappointed about not holding the lead, to then being quite glad and quite pleased that we didn't lose the game. And yeah, that's why football is such a brilliant sport, to watch, to enjoy. And yeah, look, we went to a hard place and we didn't lose. We picked up a point, and we move on. We move on. So yeah, another away trip, a London derby on Sunday. But look, we'll get into it after this little intro. Yeah. So Richard, how is everything with you? Uh, you've just got back from
Yeah,
work.
I got back around about 3 o'clock. Yeah, and
Okay.
then cooked dinner. Just with the dishwasher's on in the background. I'm now just sitting down and chilling and getting my head around a few bits and pieces. So,
Nah,
and did
good.
a bit of
No.
research for the show as well.
Yeah. No. Well, I was say I'm working away in Yorkshire, so I'm reliant on Wi-Fi. So I'm looking forward to going and have something to eat after the show, and yeah, West Ham away, and look, we we
just by
hitting
miracles.
on.
I think you froze a bit there, Paul. Yeah, that hotel Wi-Fi decided to play up.
Has it gone? Are we there?
No, no, you're back. You're back again now. But you did for a little second. It looked your voice was sort of breaking up, and then it looked like you frozen for a little while.
Oh, okay. No, it's fine. So yeah, so West Ham, two massive games now where we go into these and we need to pick up maximum points, bearing in mind that next game is the big one at the Etihad. What are your thoughts about West Ham going into the game?
See, West Ham isn't a game that I worry about. Uh, we do historically well against West Ham, and the form suggests we come out winners. So I don't have too many concerns about West Ham. The two biggest concerns for me in this run up, literally, were Southampton and Brighton, two teams that recently, historically, we've struggled against, and out of the games that we had left, they were the two that stood out as banana skins for me. We know what St James's Park did to us last year, but last year we were without key players, and usually St James's Park is a really good hunting ground for us. And Liverpool City, we knew what we were getting there. So, and the rest of the games, I don't see as issues for us historically or on form. So, as I said, it is literally Southampton Brighton ones that would cause me any concern.
Yeah, I look at say these two of us that they're going to hold huge importance to us as a club and where we're going to be towards that final push for the trophy. And should we fail to pick up points, obviously that hands the initiative straight to City, doesn't it? And
Yeah, they become favourites.
yeah, exactly. And you look at it, and how are this group going to deal with that kind of pressure in these two games? My guess is that they're going to take it in their stride, like they've done all season. You know what I mean? Every game we've gone into with huge desire and a want to go and play your game. And yeah, there's been no real concerns. Yeah, a couple of poor performances mid season, weren't there? Just and
Yeah, I think the ones that stand out are the Leeds away, Southampton away, and Everton away,
yeah,
where the performances weren't great. Other than that, I think most of the games you could sit there and say, actually, that's not bad. That's not bad
yeah.
performance
No, of
we've had.
course. When you look at, and this has been obviously we've had a kind of a mini meltdown on social media, haven't we, fans, about the result, and yeah, the standard things coming out about Xhaka inciting the crowd, and it's one of those where you look at it and you just think, why are we really getting involved in this kind of negative spin? And it started coming from, say, like the media again, didn't it?
Yeah,
Carragher calling him out, and it was like, well, look, he hasn't. If you actually look at the whole kind of incident and where he was originally fouled, wasn't given as a foul, and then they squared up. It wasn't like he's gone and done anything huge. If he just suddenly just walked off, or he was kind of like a timid kind of character and didn't really show that kind of fight, people would be still probably having a pop at him for not showing enough heart.
yeah,
And you look at it like that, it could have that crowd at Anfield could easily be changed just by anything whatsoever, just like last season. And you looked at it like that, the touch paper could just be lit from a bad foul, a bad decision, whatever you name it. It was it was one of those things, and yeah, I just find the reaction just a little bit
yeah.
too
It's quite
over the
interesting.
top.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because I was watching another channel and they had uh, they had uh, Stevie Nicol as a guest and Kevin Campbell was on there as well. And Stevie Nicol was of the opinion that Shaka was silly to to do something like that to get the crowd going. But Campbell was like, well, no, actually, it doesn't matter what ground you go to, the crowd will look for something to pick up on. Whether that be a referee decision or coming together between two players, it doesn't matter. They will find something to latch onto. So that isn't really, in the scheme of things, much of a thing to worry about, and it didn't have any effect on the outcome of the game. Yeah, it got the crowd lifted, but you have to deal with that, and you have to deal with the incessant pressure that comes your way with a team lifted by the crowd. So, but
Yeah,
I think you will get those opposing thoughts because it's how you view whether that affected the result of the game. And I don't think that affected the result of the game. To be honest, I think it spurred the Liverpool players on, but I think us sitting back and with the Liverpool players then spurred on by the fans and that incident and the incident with the linesman and Robertson, and any little decision that went against them, it sort of picked them up again, and it was a mixture of all those things. But we didn't crumble.
Yeah, there was you'd think in maybe say like last season we'd have kind of folded, wouldn't we? And
But
um,
two seasons ago, that would have ended up 7-8-2.
yeah, look, we were conceding goals like in ridiculous time, weren't we? At Anfield historically, and yeah, once one goes in, it was like a snowball effect. But yeah, it was one of those when it was just I think the goal obviously come at the wrong time for us. We wanted to probably get into half time. Yeah, just an oversight in defence where we get caught out on the right, and yeah, look, it happens, and once that tide does turn, and then when they come out in the second half, they've been given instructions to really get tighter to us, and it caused us to not play our game and not be able to get our passes off, and our midfield was kind of swamped, and yeah, I imagine we lost a lot of confidence in our play because we weren't getting the passes, we weren't finding the passes that we were initially getting, so. Yeah, I imagine that's why it ended up being the way it did. In all honesty, just as the game went on, the kind of confidence of our play just kind of went because we didn't really see the light through the pressure. But look, it's a game of football, isn't it? And
Yeah.
look, we could have easily.
If you look at the
Matched it.
chances they missed and the chances we missed, the draw was a
Yeah,
fair
well,
result.
that's it. But then, in all that pressure we had probably the best chance right in the last minute of the game, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
Martinelli just all he had to maybe just slide that ball in just into Saka's feet, rather than trying
all
to
down to the side to Trossard,
or
and then let
whatever.
Trossard. Yeah,
Either ball just to kind of just get on goal or get near goal. Then there's the chance. But look, that's football.
yeah,
But yeah, so West Ham, you said the form is really good. Yeah, the last 9 visits to West Ham have seen us, favourable, isn't it? It's 5
yeah,
wins, 3 draws, and 1 loss.
yeah,
Yeah, a
and
couple of real entertaining 3-3 draws. Notable on that one. So,
yeah.
yeah, as you say, I've got no qualms going to West Ham.
Well, I went back a bit further, as I said before we started. I went back to when the Premier League started, and in total we've had 17 wins, 9 draws, and 4 losses uh, against West Ham. So that's why historically they're not it's not a bogey place to go, and they're not a bogey team for us. So but that's why I wasn't worried about this game particularly. And then uh, I've got it as West Ham score 1.26 goals at home and concede 1.26 goals at home this season. We score 2 goals away, and we only concede 0.73. So for me, forms form suggests it's an Arsenal win, and I haven't seen anything from. I watched the West Ham Newcastle match, and I didn't see anything in there that suggests we should be frightened of them, and that there's anything to be concerned about.
Yeah, look, you go through their kind of their form, and it isn't great. Obviously, their position towards the bottom is not very good reading. It's not really good reading for 9 other clubs. Is it really? It's so
No.
tight down there this year, and you normally have like about 5 that are kind of pulled away from the rest of them. But when you see 7 points separating, say, the bottom 7, and then just another 2 points then takes it up to the 9. It's just it's madness. But it's a mixed bag with them. West Ham, I think, form wise. Look,
Well,
they played last night.
yeah.
Sorry, they
In
played
the
tonight.
last,
Didn't
yeah, in the last 12 matches, I've just pulled it up. Form-wise, they're 11th in the league. They've won 4, drawn 4, lost 4. They've scored 14 goals, but conceded 17 and got 16 points.
Yeah, the notable poor one was that Newcastle game, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
that was a demolition. And
and
look,
we're way better than Newcastle. So
well, yeah, we look at it and it's it's one of those, and it probably was a freak result, in all honesty. And I think Moyes had kind of drilled into him to say it was a freak. It can't be happening. So, yeah, full well they're going to be well up for it come Sunday. And yeah, my worry. Well, I say worry. I've seen that they did rest some players ready for Sunday. Made 6 changes. Drew 1-1 at Ghent. But look, we should have enough to make sure that the result is done and dusted. There's more about us now. Whatever happens, I've got no
to
qualms.
be honest, the only player that would worry me would be is Bowen, and he isn't really in form. An informed Bowen would worry me. I mean, you
Yeah,
look at their midfield. What Suchek, Royce? I can't. And I'm not sure who the third one will be, but Suchek isn't up to what he was last year or the year before, and Royce, well, is looking towards what he's going to do in the summer. He's not got the support in there to make him work in that system. He does an all right job, but he's struggling without that backup. So that's
well,
what.
I've seen that they. Hello, sorry. Are you still
Yeah,
there?
yeah, you're still there, Holes. You stopped, you froze, and then you spoke, and so I was just waiting for you for it to catch up again.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Yeah, um, yeah. You look at those players that were rested, and yeah, it was a decent side they put out. But yeah, you got like Cresswell, Zuma, Fabianski, Fornals, Antonio, Paqueta, Cornet, and Souček as well. So and Benrahma as well. So there's a good chance that those players are going to start on Sunday. And yeah, look, that we've got a better squad than them. And look, they're having to juggle and try and get themselves through into that next round of Europe. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. And as I say, we are in a real good spell of form. Obviously, eight unbeaten, and look, it's a chance to get to 10. And I did say this. I said early in the season, it's going to be down to what team or which team goes and gets 10 wins on the bounce.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I mean, it's about who's going to be the most consistent over these last games, isn't it? And that's always going to be hard. But I back us on form.
Yeah, well, that's it. And at the end of the day, as I say, we've changed in our mindset every game we approach it the right way, the correct way, and we are showing that we are an elite team in that division, and that's obviously not been there for quite a while, is it? When we kind of we turn up for matches, and it's one of those where we just look, there's a different mentality, there's a different way of us playing and going from game to game, and it's just it's really pleasing just to see the mindset of the players. And look, the second youngest squad in the league as well, and this is why I say this is gonna really test this group to see how they get through this, because again, this is unknown to them. This pressure now is unknown to this group. We've gone through all this season, but that's nothing compared to what's coming up in these next 7 weeks.
Yeah, but for me, you see, and I've had this argument with my brother, half brother, who's a City fan, and 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 it's actually the pressure's on City, because as long as we did our job, and which we've done up to now, when we get to City, if we win the next two, we're 9 points ahead. City have to win that game to have any chance of putting the title in their hands.
Yeah.
Any other result doesn't put the title in their hands.
No, of course it's a six. It's one of those proper 6 pointers, isn't it? At the end of the day,
For us, it's a must not. The City game is a must not lose. Whatever you do, you come away with something. And
yeah, you literally think
the title's in your the destiny's in your hand. You go on to the other places and you win. City can't do anything.
yeah. No, but you look at that. Even as I say, it is football. Anything can happen on the day. Even if we manage to get a win, and I mean, just the unbelievable feeling that we could potentially get a win, and should we pick up maximum points in these two games, that is unbelievably massive, and yeah, probably one that it's not gonna it's not gonna fall out of our grasp. Um, but it's just obviously the other way around, isn't it? And this is this concern of dropping the points and it going the other way and going south.
I mean,
We're all
I
worried
would like,
about.
yeah, I would like if we win these two games, Arteta to sit the squad down and say to them, "It's in your hands. Go out and prove you're you're champions. This is your moment. Go and seize it."
I think he'll have a lot to say about this, and we know how diverse he is with his methods and trying to rile up the squad, give them confidence and belief. Um, obviously we just see the Anfield things from last season and bits and pieces like that. There's so many different kind of ways he probably will look to approach it, but they're going to have belief, and I think from the two performances that we've had against City this season, I think that there's a lot to be confident about.
Yeah.
Because we look at the home game, and it was a frustrating game. I think it's more to say when City walk off the pitch with only about 35% possession, and we come out of the game on a big defeat, and yeah, 3 goals, 3 individual errors, and yeah, he just you just looked at it and it was just one of those. And if we can get a performance out there which is devout of individual errors and it is piece by piece perfect, then I'll tell you what, that will be one hell of a game. If we can actually get that perfect game, I think that will be a one
I
storm
also
game.
look at that game and you think Nketiah header miss when he should have scored. Another chance he had with a header he missed, and then the one where he didn't quite get his toe to the ball, and you think actually if you put a cut of those chances away, that result at the Emirates is different.
Well, we had the chances, didn't we? And that's it. And this is where we talk about football being such fine margins. And it's from a header and the contact of the header just being maybe half a second out or whatever like that, and the ball goes wide to be going on target. Yeah, same with someone putting pressure on a second too late or half a second too late. There's a chance to have a shot, and yeah, there's little bits like that, and we look at the offside calls or whatever like that. They're so minimal, and yeah, I mean, just so, then it. This is why football is just an amazing sport, where it's such a fine line from absolute delirium to just head in hands and just you know what I mean. You're in suffering, and look, I'd be more worried if we didn't get the chances, but we did get the chances, and it was the same in the FA Cup where we did create some chances in the FA Cup despite putting out a inferior team to bump out
Really,
the
they didn't create that much in the FA Cup. It was that one moment of brilliance that, you say brilliance, but there was there were defensive errors from us in that goal as well, that allowed them to people not following runners, turning their back on the shot, and little bits and pieces that in big games against big teams are going to cost you. And you against City, you know you're going to have to be almost perfect. You're going to have, you might have to ride your luck once or twice, but you're going to have to earn that luck by being defensively sound, and you rigid in what you're doing, and then at the other end, when you get your chance, you've got to take it.
Yeah, definitely, and this is what Arsenal have now got to suddenly morph into more. Now is that team that are proper clinical, and I think we've improved to a certain degree, but there obviously are those games where we do still see ourselves having to have numerous chances to go and score, but look, that's part and parcel of the whole project. My most important thing is that I look at the amount of different players that have actually scored for us this season, and 14 different goal scorers.
You also got to think how many of our goal scorers are on 10 plus goal contributions as well, or near 10 plus goal contributions. So you've got Martinelli, you've got Saka, you've got Odegaard, you've got Jesus, you've got Xhaka, you've got Trossard, and they're all around 10 goal contributions, nearly all are over that. So it bodes well. I mean, for us.
Yeah, do you kind of want a couple of injuries for City now, don't we? I think be quite nice just to
all I want is them to go out and beat Bayern next week. Get through, because they go to Bayern. They have 8 matches in July before to the end of the season. About six league games, two semi-final matches against Rail. They're not going to be able to rest players in between those games
Yeah,
if they want to win everything.
I think the FA Cup they'll put a
Oh
rotated
yeah,
squad
against
out,
Sheffield
but
United,
I'm
they're going to
hoping
put a second
I'm
string out.
hoping that Bayern actually give them a little battering, a polite battering on the pitch. Actually give them a game, and just I know obviously the scoreline didn't represent the actual the way the game was at
No.
times, but yeah, if they can make it.
My brother.
If they can make it
I
a
upset
tough
my
game, that will really affect City more than them just going through on a canter and just being able to bring players off with no real meaning or of that game. So it's kind of a null game in theory. It's like a little training game playing within yourselves. So yeah, that's my kind of take on them really. But
I did upset my brother because he messaged me yesterday, and it was oh Silver was world class, and I said, and I laughed at him. I laughed at, and he said, "Why are you putting laughing emojis?" I said, "Did you really? That's your take from the game. What I took from that game is Bayern gifted you 2 goals, and then I got an hour worth of text on Messenger ranting at me and showing me commentary of commentators saying Silver's had put in a world class display.
yeah, no, it's good. I'm just I just want this kind of 7 weeks just to kind of slowly, well, it is slowly going, but I want it to speed up a little bit, and I almost like
Yeah,
I don't want the
those
break.
games off.
I hate the break between the fixtures. I wish I could wake up and then the next match is on the following day, and it was like you could just flick to it, and you just almost like like Netflix. You can just forward to the bit you want to see or whatever like that. So you go straight to the next one, next chapter, and it's like the next game. It's just like it'd be so good. Don't have to deal with this mental side of worrying what's going to happen and when. Obviously, City playing before us
We've
as
got
well.
one less game now as well, haven't we? In April because it's been moved. The Chelsea game's been moved to May.
Yeah, that was another thing, and yeah, I'd done an impromptu show whilst I was watching my boy at football training, and the rain was howling down. Catch it on YouTube, but yeah, just a little bit there about it. The hot talking point, and yeah, under
Yeah,
3 weeks.
I don't know what. I know the police have said that because of the thing, but what else is going on that day on the
Well,
Saturday at
there's
5:30?
there's talk because obviously the Jubilee
Oh,
is
yeah.
on the following week. Police were not allowed to take any kind of annual leave on that weekend, so they were being kind of forced to take leave on this weekend. So initially agreeing to the safety meeting in February, it then turned out that they then had another meeting and then said, "Oh, hang on a minute, we can't. We haven't got the police to do it." So yeah, it's quite laughable considering there's 3 weeks or less than 3 weeks until that the original date of the fixture. It had already been rearranged from the initial kind of fixture list, and yeah, we see it rearranged for the second time. So you see people who have booked flights, train tickets, spent money on the actual match tickets, all now potentially not been able to go because of the date. And obviously the Friday night is obviously a big pull as well because people come over for the weekend, and
Yeah,
it's a great social kind of outlet for a Friday night. You've got your normal Friday night shenanigans, and you've got a bit of football to go alongside it. And for that to then change until the following Tuesday, it's scarpered some people's plans. And yeah, I look at some have been like unbelievably like battered with financial costs just because yeah, America, people flying from America coming in for the match. I know someone who spent about £2,000 with his family coming over, and they were due to go back on the Monday, and it was like okay, so yeah,
and the cost it would take to rearrange your flights to for a Wednesday, and booking that extra hotel stay until that as well.
yes,
So
but it's all expense on the fan, and this is what I said on that kind of the hot topic, and it was like club wants the fans to show loyalty, and they breed on our loyalty. What we would hope is that the club also would show that kind of loyalty as well, and that goes by making sure decisions like this are not taken. You know, what I mean, this. Yeah, I mean, there's been no consultation on behalf of the fans because obviously that the game would have gone ahead. There's yeah, there's little things like this where it's just that the fans seem to be always the last to kind of hear, or you know what I mean, just being advised. I kind of knew about it through a kind of heads up from TFL, and that shouldn't really happen. Whereas you got things coming out from there, and nothing from the club. And it's funny enough, it coincided with the final game of the season. Tickets coming out, so they gave you a double whammy of releasing those tickets at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then 3 o'clock in the afternoon when everyone's not been able to get tickets, and they've come out and say, "Oh yeah, confirm this is now changing." So it's a proper double whammy. But look, I say I'm going to do another hot topic show going over this kind of whole ticket fiasco. That's what I've called it, and yeah, a little plug. It's going to come. So over in the next couple of days or so, yeah, from touts to yeah, looking at the actual member structure of the club. You know, what I mean, 210,000 members roundabouts going for 9,000 tickets, Richard, every single game,
yeah,
and it's madness. It's yeah, 200% uptake of members trying to buy tickets from like last season. It's crazy. Unprecedented kind of demand from what we've seen. So yeah, so that's going to come in the next couple of days or so.
yeah.
So
Well, I've literally just gone on to this is scfootballtickets.co.uk. So
yeah, it's an interesting thing about these sites, and this is something I'll go into where they're they're edging their bets. These kind of ticket sites.
so I don't know if you can.
No, it's a bit
You won't,
bright.
yeah. But it's 1,012 upper level to 1,020, upper level 1,200, gold upper level 1,250, lower level 1,300,
Yeah.
and I believe they've even got club level here as well. Gold level lower level, 1,745.
Yeah, so these kind of like companies that do these, they don't always have those tickets
Yeah,
available. What they're doing is they're putting their rod in the water, and they're testing prices. If Richard goes on that site, or I go on that site, and then suddenly say, oh, okay, yeah, I'll go and buy that. I think that's a really good deal, and I go and buy that ticket, expecting a ticket. Um, when in reality you don't actually get the ticket until very close to that fixture. So what that company would go and do is they will then go and try and source a ticket in those areas from their contacts, and those contacts probably are commercial. Yeah, I mean there could be those kind of ones that are so part of businesses. Um, from to the problem issues of red memberships, where they've been had by people that run like the bot software to kind of pick up the tickets, which obviously sees themselves into the tout network. So this is where they're doing. So they'll basically say, right, okay, well, yeah, all right, I've made £1,700 on this ticket. All right, can I buy this off you for whatever, 800 or whatever? There's their markup straight away. So I know someone also had this as well, coming from Canada, and they'd gone and spent £3,000 on tickets. They then turned up at the club to kind of say, well, come up to the game, and then basically that day they got a refund from this company to say they couldn't get tickets. So there's the proof on that side, where yeah, the tickets are there, but if they can't actually source them, then you're just going to get the money back. And then the trouble is, you've travelled from Canada all the way for the match, but then you're none the wiser. And then yeah, that day before the game, the refunds in your account. So yeah, there's lots of little things like that, and there's some right old scary stuff regards to tickets and the touting side of things, which yeah, I think that'd be a good show. I'm going to do it live, and it should generate quite a bit of.
I know if you come from the Arsenal station, and you walk down, you've got the stores on the left, on that corner just before you get to Drayton Park. There's two guys, the same two guys. You'll spot them every time you get down, and they're selling tickets.
Yeah, it's mental. The trouble is, they apparently. I remember back in, but when I was a little bit younger, and I was really keen trying to see about getting tickets and at Highbury, and I think a couple of times I may have bought off a tout to get into the games, and yeah, when you suddenly see them paper tickets, and they're like literally like this, and they got like a wad of tickets like that straight up done. Apparently, they're not. They don't have that now. I may be corrected, but apparently they're spots. So they basically will go and pull the ticket, and then they'll get on the phone to one of their network, and all of a sudden, you then meet up with someone else. So yeah, if the police go and pull up this guy that's on the corner, he's got no tickets on him. Whereas the other guy potentially by the stadium, whatever, is obviously letting them in. I don't know. I've never bought one recently, so couldn't really see. So yeah, but it's gonna be a big conversation. So yeah, so it might be quite good.
It'll be an interesting one.
So so there's a lot of good stuff. I've got some good bits from the club and from the Sports Trust as well when I was in their meeting. So that was nice. To hear what they're doing and stuff. So I'm just going to pop into live chat. Emerson is in the house. I cannot see Bayern beating Man City. And Man City will rest a few players. Yeah, I think it's going to be a massive performance, isn't it, from them? I know they're at the arena, but
we don't want Bayern to beat City. We want City to have more matches, but we want them to make it a little bit of a test.
Yeah, I want them. I want them to get stuck into them. I want them to start kicking lumps out of them and just or whatever, just making it a game and getting it really kind of like close. And if they get a couple of injuries along the way, oops. So yeah, so no, I want Bayern to put up a fight, and I'm sure they will. But yeah, I can't see City going out. Yeah, if Bayern score three, then I'm sure City will score one or potentially two. Just the way they are, the way they play. So yeah, let's hope for some tough games. Even Leicester, I hope Leicester get a kind of a shoe in by and the manager bounce, and then suddenly get into them, get stuck into them, and make it hard, and not just lie over and just kick your legs out on your back. So, John the Gooner's in the house. Evening Gooners. Arsenal have had ticket touts from day one. Not sure what the answer is. Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just
Every
Arsenal;
club,
it's
it's
every
not just
team, isn't
us.
it?
It's a
Yeah,
system. It's systematic. It's. You know what I mean, it's not just one club. Look, you've got it at music festivals. You've got it at you know what I mean, gigs. They're all there. These websites are kind of they're not legalized touting because they are still illegal if they were set up in this country. But most of those are based in like Gibraltar or somewhere where our laws aren't aren't attained. So yeah, so they go scot free. So you can't actually get them done over the. I think it's the terms and conditions of the ticket. So that you couldn't actually go and say, well, you've broken the terms and conditions because they're registered overseas. I think that's what the wording is on that side. So John Gooney, they even do price match. I've not seen the price match. I know. When back in the day, you always go and say, well, that guy down the road was offering them at. You know what I mean? If he's saying 110, or we say he was offering them at 75. Oh, okay. Let me just have a think about it. All right, I'll come away, and yeah, here it is. So yeah, it's been around. Yeah, there's going to be a big discussion on the touting side of things in that show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, it's a mad area. You know what I mean? You obviously go and say and buy a load of tickets off touts. Yeah, you can just chuck money out just and then do it. So that it's got to be done in um, an organised structure and somewhere where it's kind of protected. So yeah, more on that on that show. Yeah, Leicester Square, all of their ticket box office sell them blatantly. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what the answer is for those, and whether or not they are illegal. I don't know. They obviously it can't obviously be illegal for them to sell it. But did they
to
on the
get
Leicester
away.
Square? Did they do the football matches as well, or is it just the like the West End and stuff? I can't remember. I don't think I've seen football tickets, but I know you can get yeah, like last minute kind of deals. But I don't know. It's a sketchy kind of area, isn't it, to go
Yeah,
down? Yeah. But yeah, no, it's good. I suppose we better go and look into what we think the lineup's going to be on Sunday. Digressing
yeah.
away from the match. What are your thoughts on how we're going to line up?
I think it'll be exactly the same. I mean, unless Saliba miraculously recovers, it'll be exactly the same lineup. I think you only change maybe Nketiah on the bench for Nelson, and that might be the only real change that you might get. But I don't see him changing too much. The squad's going well, and somebody's got to miss out up front, and that will probably be Trossard again. Uh, and, and that's hard on Trossard, but Jesus is in form. Martinelli's in form. The only one that isn't, maybe you'd say, is Saka. But even so, he can have a moment just like that. So, do you really drop him? So,
Yeah, no, I've got a feeling. I've been hearing little bits, and again, it's all rumour mill and stuff, but potentially Partey might be arrested for Jorginho coming in. Um, how how reputable that is, I don't know. I think it's a gamble. If that was the case, and you want to kind of protect him a little bit, knowing that obviously we've got, say, Southampton, and then the
City,
big
yeah,
one,
yeah.
and you look at it like that, and you
I
just
think it's
think,
a
well,
risk, but yeah, I think it's a risk. I mean, if I was resting Party, it'd probably be more of a Southampton game than the West Ham game. But it, you'll it's your it's an interesting one, unless he's got a slight knock that they're trying to keep sort of keep him ticking over, which then you can understand. But
yeah, I don't know if I'm still questioning maybe his 100% um, his condition from, say, like the internationals. Obviously, that coach going over there again, precautionary, but I don't know. There seems to be a lot of caution, and whether or not that's just being safe, and just being that little bit, like a bit more kind of like organised towards him, and making sure that we're not flogging him. And I think that's probably good management in the end of the day. Yeah, if it all goes well, but we know full well if any changes he makes, like could have done at the weekend, made some changes early, and then Liverpool kind of run riot, or the game kind of really changes, and we go and lose. It'll be then, oh, why has he made these subs at that time? But yeah, I look at it. He's got to play the team that he is always going for, and that would be, yeah, that would be the same team, barring any injuries or whatever like that. Then I or players that are kind of struggling after the game time, then I'd keep it as it is. I still would love to see him play Tierney. Still love to see that little bit of natural width just down the left. And these are those kind of games where you're suddenly thinking, if you're playing these teams that are lower down the league, you're going to get probably a bit more time on the ball, and you'll be able to create more space down the wings and open them up, because they're going to be trying to condense the middle of the park and really make it tricky. So I just look at it. He has to kind of just mix it up a little bit, I think. And again, if Zinchenko has to defend, he isn't the best. But the other way round, retaining ball, keeping the ball, and yeah, just obviously popping around in every kind of area in that kind of midfield side. It's he's great at it, but it's almost like you kind of want. I wish Tierney could kind of just do that bit as well, but then still have that defensive side. But look, that's the big thing about it, isn't it? It's just, you know what I mean, he's the defender, and Zinchenko isn't really that defender like Tierney, and it's where I don't know. I think probably that'd be my only question I would ask on Arteta is, why has he been so unwilling to kind of rotate them more. Because
I think it's plain and simple that what Zinchenko offers. It's that control in the middle of the park where and we control the games, and with that party Zinchenko access is pretty good. And I mean, it was obvious in pre-season, and it's been obvious throughout the season that if a team can get a diagonal ball over into that area or into Ben White's area, our fullback positions are the exposed positions. But we've defended that really well most of the season.
yeah,
It's just there are certain times, and if Zinchenko's a one-on-one, he's more than likely going to get beat.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's where you sort of take the risks in playing that way.
yeah.
And I
No,
think if Tierney could, I'll give the Pep one when he talked about Carl Walker and John Stones, and he flat out said it's just because John Stones can do what I'm asking of him in that position. He can invert, and Carl Walker hasn't got the skill set to be an inverted fullback. So in this game, I didn't play him, and that's the reason why. He just doesn't have the skill set to play that inverted role. He's got a different type of skill set that I might need in another game.
yeah. No, I just wonder whether or not we could be even more dynamic as a team where we hit a team with width, or we hit it with Zinchenko in the first half, gain control, but then, and this is what I was kind of thinking, well, maybe like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes a game when we kind of alternate around, then we just carry it on, and we just have that different way of playing. So, how do we do it? It's the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I like Tierney, but I'm also in the school of thought that you have to earn that starting spot, and you have to be literally breaking the manager's door down in when you get on the pitch and when you're in training, saying, "This is my level. You can't leave me out. You can't drop me." And if he's not doing that, then that's on his shoulders. He has to go to the coach and say, "What more do I have to do? What can I do to get back in your team?" And then you hope the coach is 100% honest and upfront with you. But
Yeah,
and says,
and that's
"Well,
like that's
you
something
do
that,
this."
yeah, it's something that's a little bit worrying, though, isn't it? It looks like that's, well, I wouldn't say it's broken down. I still think he's got quite a lot of respect for Arteta and the way we've been, certainly playing, and I don't know. I just think maybe he could just mix it up a little bit, and
See,
could
I don't see why you couldn't have both of them on the pitch at the same time at some points.
yeah, one place higher, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one. It is really hard. Um, yeah, you look. I don't know, guys. What, John, Emerson? If you're still watching, what are your thoughts on it? Um, it is a hard one. You know what I mean. We're going to lose a very good player, and as I say, I don't think that's any way to do with he can't play. Well, it is to do with he can't play a certain way, but there
It's
surely
not
is a
to do
way.
quality. It's just that he can't do what Arteta wants him to do, which is a shame because he's a quality fullback.
Yeah, there should be a way where we could kind of just we actually keep it mixed up, and by mixed up means that you'll go into a game, you've got proper width with Tierney. Can he get some crosses in? Can he link up with Martinelli and then do it? And that's one way of playing. And then all of a sudden, if that's not going right, okay, Zinchenko comes on, okay, tidy up the midfield and knit it all together. And just being able to just kind of alternate it and mix it up a little bit. And it keeps the other teams guessing as well. Because, yeah, it is awkward and I don't know, you're just trying to please everyone, aren't you? And it's just, it's I don't know, it's hard. I don't know. We don't, we don't have to make those decisions. That's the best thing we can deal with now. We don't have to make these decisions, and it is what it is. So yeah. That's Arteta's job. That's why he gets paid the money, Richard. We can't go into this. We can't go into this because, yeah, my only hope is that if we do get rid of him, we actually do get proper money for him.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, if that means he can go and play football and as he deserves, then so be it. He'll go with my blessing, go with many fans' blessing because he wants to play. And look, not every player suits a shape or a way of playing. So ask Aubameyang.
Yeah. I mean, it could be that he goes and we switch Tomiyasu over and then go for a right back.
Yeah.
So it's not as if we haven't got the options there to do things like that. It's just how Arteta and they do see things, isn't it?
It is indeed. It's Look, we're already in that mode of where we've identified probably what our targets are for next. Got how much are these teams going to be willing to sell them for? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You've broken up a little bit, but then you kick back in. So
That's all right. Can you hear me still? Wi-Fi dropped slightly. That's all right. That's good. I just wanted to make sure I weren't just talking to myself because.
No, you weren't. Yeah.
Emerson's still in the chat. Yeah, I personally like to see Tierney play on Sunday and Zinchenko, but the rest of the team picks itself. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing, yeah, I think that's fair enough. And the other thing about this West Ham and the Southampton game is the 6 points from there mathematically guarantees us Champions League. Because if we were to lose every other game after, no team could catch us in or on the points. So
no, it's good. It's a pleasing sign because again, this obviously is the main thing. This. I don't care what anyone says about where we are now. This is what every Arsenal fan wanted right from the start. Is Arsenal get back into Champions League football, get back to the pinnacle of European competition, and make a go of it. And yeah, obviously we had Wenger 20 odd years.
Yeah,
look,
but we're ahead of schedule. We're still a young team with a manager who hasn't been in the job very long, so is still learning, and we're going up against probably the greatest manager of the Premier League will have seen by the time he finishes. If he's not the best, he'll be second best.
Yeah, no, I don't like to keep going about. We've got an inexperienced manager. We've got a young manager. I mean, he's not
Yeah,
learning on the job. He's a young coach. He's had a lot of experience with football and coaching. That's it. From doing your badges to whatever like that. You don't just get them just like that and then suddenly say, oh, there you go. It's not an apprenticeship. I mean, you've got to have some nous about you. And yeah, it's good just to see that he's had experience with Guardiola, and
yeah,
obviously seeing a manager that has done so much in the game. And you see by the way Guardiola respects him as a friend, as a professional. So yeah, look, we know if we can match his ambitions, just like our star boys, if we can match their ambition, we actually do what we needed to have done 15, 16 years ago, 20 years ago. Match those ambitions. Yeah, remember Invincibles around that time?
yeah,
If that club or our club had those kind of ambitions at that time, going into this new stadium that we were promised, then we'd have been obviously in this position a lot sooner than what we've had to kind of deal with over this like period of like 18, 19 years. So yeah, the club have got to now match it, and yeah, the Cronkies have suddenly, well, they've shown some form of care, but I wouldn't say it's proper full care. Um,
but they have to improve in areas, don't they? I mean, our marketing ability and and that the revenue from other bits and pieces could be so much better. We're still quite behind other teams in those areas,
I think
and
we're
that's where
still,
they've
I
got.
think we're still running the headache of or the hangover of Gazidis, and bearing in mind, obviously, he was brought in for the well, dealing with the commercial side of things, wasn't he? And we had our worst our worst performance commercially as a club. Yeah, obviously going with the worst kind of like status that we've had as a club in the Premier League. But yeah, look, we're slowly getting back, and obviously got to wait for those kind of deals to have kind of expired to then renew. And now, with the way the club is going and the way the team is, those renewals can only be going up, and that will in turn boost the club. But yeah, my main concern is still that there is no real investment from the Cronkies. It's just refinanced bank loans. So rather than us paying the banks, they've basically said, right, okay, well we'll do away with the interest. You now pay KSE, and that's it. You know what I mean? So we're paying them. So
They've been clever, yeah.
yeah. So they've restructured it that way, but they haven't actually gone and put any money in. But the
The
balance books say they
only
do,
deal,
but they
yeah,
haven't.
the only deal that they've had any was the party one where they guaranteed the money,
Yeah,
that the money would be there, and that's all they did. They've not actually put their money in the pockets as such. That was the only deal where they said we'll guarantee that the money's there for him.
I think it was the 15 or 17 million. I think they paid with regards to COVID. There was some restructuring they had to do around COVID, and then all it was then the restructuring of the loans. So they basically paid up the loans and then put it on KSE. So we then pay KSE rather than the banks. That's the only money they put into the club as
Yeah,
a
they bought the ground and are now the stadium and then now leasing it to us or
Well,
something,
it's
isn't it?
all part of it, isn't it? It's all part like that. And but as I said, there's no real kind of, oh yeah, well, all right, well, we're going to put in say 30, 40, 50 million pounds as an investment or a little kind of a push along. It can be done because it wouldn't be a ridiculous amount, but that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened across all the years that they've been involved. But that's old news. The football ownership. Emerson, yeah, my starting 11: Ramsdale, White, Tierney, Holding, Gabriel, Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Jesus and Saka. I thought you initially was talking that you was going to have Zinchenko in the same team as Tierney. My question to you was going to be, who would you have taken out in the midfield? And I would have
Well,
guessed.
in that case, I probably would have done. I'd have probably done the party for Zinchenko if you were going to do, because he can play in that quite. He's got the feet and the ability to do that. So, but that's, if you were doing that, that's the only way I could see it being done.
I thought I was preempting almost. It was going to be Xhaka
What Shaq? Yeah,
on
you
that
could
left
do.
hand side.
You see, what I have toyed with is actually Trossard in the Xhaka role. The question is, would he have the defensive side that Xhaka can
Look,
do?
you've
But
got this.
it's
You've got this
interesting, isn't
group
it?
of players. You have this
Yeah,
group of players, and you have to see through time what these players are capable of doing. And the only time you can really kind of do that is during friendlies, isn't it? It's the end of the day and just kind of testing it out and seeing it. You're not really going to get a lot from, say, like coming on in like as a sub or whatever like that, trying something out, because again, well, if it doesn't go right, then you're going to get pelters. Look at Xhaka left back or whatever. Not too many options when it happened, but yeah, I don't know. Not that I want
I mean,
Xhaka to be replaced at the minute, because I still think he is probably the standout midfielder in what he does in that kind of area. How he gets up the pitch and supports Martinelli and that left hand side. So it's a no brainer. But yeah, I like that, Emerson. I just think just maybe a bit of natural width with Tierney starting would be very good. The subs bench, what was it? Yeah, Turner, Zinchenko. Yeah, it's a strong bench.
yeah, we and this is the thing, isn't it? That there's probably two players there that you that are not the strongest, and that's the or three if you include Nketiah, but Kivior and Nelson are probably the weakest two on that bench. Uh, uh, so that's not a bad place to be.
No, but obviously it's still it's a massive improvement from, say, like last year, where we've filled in, say, like 3 or 4 16 to 17 year olds, and or sorry, a 14-year-old at one point. So no, I'm liking how this squad is looking, and with everyone back and fit, and then we make additional signings in the summer. I really think we'll be in a very good pathway. And yeah, I don't buy that this is our best chance, because everyone's saying, oh yeah, this team's going to get better, this team's going to get better, this team's going to get better.
We're going
No
to
one,
get better.
no one's really said, oh well, we could get better as well. Could buy this player and this player, and then we could be a lot better. It's
I'm,
one of those where,
I'm also just looking at this squad without any additions. Whatever happens this season,
yeah.
they they will improve because of it.
Look, we're already seeing it. We're already seeing it. And if we can get Smith Rowe free of injury, going through to the end of the season and then into pre-season, and he has a full pre-season, I'll see him start actually really pushing for places because I think that's what he's made. I think did he was it he was fit early season, wasn't he? So he did have the pre-season. He just got
It was the yeah. He got injured in the Man
that's
United
it. Yeah,
warm down or warm
that's
up
it. Yeah,
session,
yeah.
and then he was off for a lot, and he's only just come back from the surgery, and he's just getting in that match fitness up, isn't he? He played a couple under 21s, and he scored in one, and so, but the problem is where do you put him now? I mean, the possibility is the Xhaka role, or you put Vieira in the Xhaka role and have him in the Udegaard role. But again, that's a problem for Arteta to sort out, isn't
It's a
it?
problem for Arteta, but again, every player's got to play for
Nice.
that position, haven't they? And they've got to play their way into the team just as much as a player to be taken out of the team has got to play its way out of the team. So by not performing, that's the only difference. And yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be certainly for his next season. It's going to be probably a crucial one. If he doesn't make a breakthrough or he finds himself having another season like he has this time round, then there will always be that talk, won't there? The natural talk of do we just cut ties and
We can't be sentimental, can we? I
no
mean, this
no.
is if we want to be an elite level club and winning the elite trophies, we can't afford to be sentimental.
But not wanting to chuck him away too early.
Way, but
I still think either he needs to go on loan, and I talk about he needs to go to. I still remember him like when he went to Huddersfield, and he played there, and I'm just get him playing, get him playing regularly, to then fire him up and get him rolling again and get him strong, and maybe a mid table. Give him and let him do it.
yeah, I think it's just because of the injury and the team's playing so well. It's extremely hard to get in at the moment. And next season will with the pre-season under his belt, he may get a better chance. But again, it depends on who you're bringing in. Because for me, we need someone along the forward line that can play across all three. We need two central midfielders, uh, a DM type, and one that can compete with Xhaka. And then I'd look at an upgrade on Holding, not knocking Holding, but if you can get, you look at City, Stones, Diaz, Akanji, Ake, they had Cancelo there. Look at the depth of players who can play in that middle, in those centre back roles. And if you want to get to be beating them to titles, that's what you've got to have in every position. You've got to have quality on quality,
Yeah, so
and it's not as defensive.
they got that many, but they obviously have three defenders, don't they? For three central defenders.
Yeah.
We will always, he's resisted really playing three at the back. In reality, unless it's obviously shut up shop like we saw at the weekend. But yeah, there is always that kind of feeling. Yeah, we got Kirill in as cover for Gabriel, and yeah, it isn't the best. I mean, I mean, to replacement, it should Gabriel go and then bring him in. It wasn't a here and now, but again, I look at it and I'd suddenly say, well, if you're going to go and spend money on a central defender, you're not going to be spending a lot of money on a central defender. You're not going to be going to buy like an A grade defender, because again, who are you going to take out? He ain't going to play as backup. So it's going to be a youngster, isn't it? It's going to be a youngster or an up and coming player to kind of come in and be that kind of understudy for them two, unless someone's form drops out and then they come waltzing in.
And you've also got to think, if you're playing Saliba, Gabriel in the Champions League, you could probably rest one of them, or depending on who you're playing the weekend. If you're playing the West Ham, a Southampton, a Leeds, you can afford to drop one of them and put somebody else in and give. So you could have four top quality centre backs there, because they're getting a decent run in competitions and they're getting them a decent amount of game time.
Yeah, if we know now, because obviously we're going to have the Champions League, but we know we're also going to need to have the squad to be able to compete in every single competition. Yeah, I don't want to be going out of competitions. Not saying that. I still think, like I say, like Colin obviously said, obviously on the saying about we demean the cup. We didn't want to. We just chucked the cup away, and it was like, well, we didn't really. Yeah, I mean, we made changes, but the games, when you actually look at them, we're in those games. The Brighton one was it was one of those where we had numerous chances.
And Nketiah missed chances again, didn't he?
And then it's one of those. It was just there were a couple of ones. So it weren't like real bad like misses as well. It was again good goalkeeping, but also you sometimes you have to look at it and just say, well, it just wasn't our day at the end of the day, and it was. I don't know. It's hard to gauge. We make changes to go away to City, and we put in a performance like we did, and it was a decent performance. So it wasn't like we threw it away and we chucked kids in there and just.
It's not as if we lost to a Portsmouth or Grims.
Yeah, and it's the same with Europa League as well. We got out on penalties, but again, I think that was more of a mindset thing.
Yeah.
There's more of a mindset thing with the squad, with the team. The whole kind of the tempo, the whole way of playing was totally different, and it showed when we turned up on the Sunday against Crystal Palace and absolutely spanked them, didn't we? And it was a totally different kind of vibe. Straight up, you just knew straight away passes on it. Everything, it was just like crisp. Everything was fast, but. Yeah, against Sporting, it was a little bit lethargic, a little bit kind of just let's just do enough to see if we can just kind of go in at a counter and just do it. And yeah, obviously the goal that obviously they scored was one of those one in 50 kind of like try attempts, and it went in. But yeah, penalties, we know that. So 3 competitions we've marginally gone out of, I would say, and. Look, one of those was against the champions, who were on course potentially for still a treble.
Yeah.
So yeah, you look at it and it's you ain't chucking it away. But again, having the squad depth enables us to still rotate, but rotate with still quality, like City do. You know what I mean? They've got a £300 bench.
And know that the performance level won't drop. Yeah.
And that's it. Whereas we've got a young squad. But then we've also got younger players on the bench as well, which aren't at that level because that's why they're not starting. So there is going to be a drop-off. There's a drop-off from being a youngster as opposed to being a proper season pro. Take your De Bruyne's or whatever like that, to then having your younger players who are a little bit more erratic, a little bit less inconsistent, or a little bit less consistent. And that's where we're at the minute. We know our performances and players' individual performances are going to be not consistent, or certainly not as consistent as someone that is at their pinnacle of their career. That's just standard. Um, but it's just helping those players around the group and improving what we've got, because to have a few diamonds in and around that big squad for when we go Champions League, when we play FA Cup, when we play League Cup, we want them all there, and be able to rotate it. And sometimes I just feel like maybe Arteta is a little bit guarded. He doesn't really want to do, because he knows if he does maybe mix it up a little bit too much, again, that's when the negative thing comes out again. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't, kind of almost in a way. And he makes that change, or he brings Tierney in, or whatever, or he brings someone else in just for rotation, and you don't get that. You don't get that result.
Because you're not getting a run of games. It's a run. It's a game here, a game in 2 or 3 weeks, or a game every other week. You don't get you can't build up that consistency and that form and that confidence to play like a team that's playing in the Premier League each week. And it's an issue, but you've got to be able to do it if you want to be in the top team.
Well, exactly. Yeah, and like I say, well, like in all walks of life, you've got to take your chance. No one's going to give it to you, but you've got to reach up and grab it. And sometimes, look at Reece Nelson in that Bournemouth game. Still remember being up in the stadium, just sitting behind it, and just I mean that moment where he come out, he had an interview. He had like Frimpong, do you know the old the carpool kind of thing he does.
Carpool one, yeah.
We were talking about it. It just said, I just knew. So as soon as I was about to hit it, it was going in the net, and how that days that was an experience and a half just to witness that kind of comeback and that proper euphoria. Really good to see. Prediction for Sunday. Come on.
I'm going with form, and I'm going a 2-1 win to us.
Damn, you can't be. I was going to go 2-1 as well, but all right, I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. So, I'm going to be at the stadium on Sunday. So, hopefully get back ready for
and go.
I'll be there for coming back for the Sunday show. Need to confirm who's on that early, because I'm probably in no fit state or area to work out or keep keep tabs on what's going on. Emerson has gone 3-1 Arsenal as well, and John says good luck at West Ham, Paul. It's gonna be good. I liked it. I remember when I was a chef when I was a little bit younger, and I used to do it at Upton Park. So I'd done a few like match days for the boardroom. So that was quite a nice little experience. And my mum's from around that way, so it's. I wouldn't say it's my second club, because I can't. There's no second club. I totally.
If you're going to a second club, it's like Portsmouth. I keep an eye on Portsmouth results because that's from where I am.
Yeah,
it's not really.
I look at it like that. It's my mum's from there, and I just said, that's my auntie, West Ham. But then it was like, so that was quite nice just to kind of do experience wise. But it'd be nice just to go to the. It's my first time. I didn't go to the Olympic Stadium when I was when obviously when the Olympics were on. So it'll be my first visit there. So it'd be good. It'd be good to see. So I've got a signed West Ham shirt I won in an auction as well. Sorry, not an auction, a raffle, which I'll be offering out to someone. Not Arsenal related, obviously.
No,
I'll try and put it down the right channels for the West Ham lot. So yeah, all good. But yeah, 3-1s all around and 2-1 from you. Yeah, look, it's going to be a good game, I think.
yeah. I think if we start it like we did the Liverpool game, the score could be anything. But
Start like every game that we've done this season.
yeah,
We've always done the same, and that's all we need to do is play our game, and the result will come. Yeah, don't hide, don't yeah, just play to your ability and believe, and it will come. So, and then we go on to Southampton. I made a mistake. I made a mistake, didn't I? When we were talking about the Chelsea game, it wasn't the Friday
yeah,
game. It was the Saturday 5:30 game.
yeah,
Friday is Southampton. So
yeah,
so yeah, but even then, still a Saturday night.
yeah. It's a
Well,
big, massive.
it's probably even
Game,
more, isn't it? It's probably even more a social event because it's still 5:30. You come out of the
yeah,
game and then you've got a Saturday night. Whereas an evening game, 8 o'clock on a Friday, once you get out, you've probably got 2 or 3 hours, or a couple of hours, or an hour and a half before closing time. So, yeah, I don't know. Fixtures, everything to talk about.
yeah.
Right, Richard, thank you for coming on tonight. An hour and a half
Well, thank you for offering as well.
talking about the Arsenal. So it's always good. It's always good to talk about the Arsenal. And yeah, thanks to Emerson coming on the live chat, and John the Gooner. Yeah, hopefully we'll get a few more on Sunday. But no, look, we've covered quite a few good little things here. And yeah, on to Sunday. 3 points, please.
Yeah, 3 points and a good display.
Yeah, good. But yeah, you've watched the Matchday preview. I'm the Bray, and yeah, you've been listening to Richard. Thank you, Richard.